I have just known the tip of the iceberg. The energy that you have, the enthusiasm that you still carry with you every day I meet you, you have that energy.
There's much to cover, much to accomplish, much to do. But I guess that's the vision, that's the mission that we have to live by.
From beautiful hills of Himalayas, you went to down south in Hyderabad. How did that come about?
If you want to go fast, you do it alone. You want to go far, do it together. And that's something I learned in
Thank you.
Newton campus in Hyderabad, Gachibowli, Bridge.
How has the founders at Pathways enabled you and the entire ecosystem to build such a beautiful institution?
So, Ankur, I just can say one word for that. It's a belief system, and it's got to do with trust.
A growing population of IB schools in the country. Globally, you are doing so much work.
It's taught me that there is just so much of joy and comfort in knowing that you're not alone in this challenging, complex world of learning and reading.
What do next few years look like for Captain Bajaj?
I see myself as growing leaders and empowering those leaders to grow others. That's my mission, and that's what I believe
Yes.
in.
Hi, welcome back. This is Intersect by Masters Union podcast series. This is Ankur Vora, your host for this amazing series where we have had the honor of hosting many inspiring educators and industry leaders. Today we have one more inspiring individual who is reimagining the way education is happening in our country. We have Captain Rohit Bajaj from the Pathway School, Gurgaon. Captain Bajaj, what an honor to have you here with us. You and me go many years back, and I have had the honor of visiting your school and even meeting you on a couple of occasions at your institution. We have met at conferences, uh, and I know Captain Bajaj is one inspiring educator. And I had been waiting to invite you here, and I'm so happy that it took out time for us, and so excited for the conversation ahead.
Thank you so much, Ankur. It's a joy for me to be here and to see your beautiful corporate space that you've made and created for the students. It's actually really inspiring. And it's a pleasure meeting you again. Thank you for having invited me here.
It's an honor, and I say this to my guest, uh, even the people that I have known for years, when they sit on this chair, and I start reading about them, because whoever I invite, I go through their entire journey, and when I read your profile and journey, I said I have just known the tip of the iceberg, or the guy that is Captain Bajaj. The energy that you have, the enthusiasm that you still carry with you every day I meet you, you have that energy. And when I was going through your profile and preparing for this conversation, I saw what a journey it has been for you. I mean, right from Lawrence School Sanar, and then St. Stephen's, and then Doon School and Indian Army. There's so much to cover, and you have been inspiring all of us in the education fraternity. And I would like to start from your early years, so that we get to know more about you. The idea and the theme of this podcast series, we have hosted 20 leading educators now, has been that we get to know more about the personalities, their own experiences. And we are sitting at Masters Union, which is all about learn by doing, lived experiences. So what were those early year experiences? Let's start from your school days that shaped you to become the person that you are today. Which city that you grew up in? Anything that you think is relevant for our audience to know.
Well, Ankur, I do have a lovely journey, and I have respect for the Almighty and gratitude for helping me become who I am. And the process continues. There's much to cover, much to accomplish, much to do. But I guess that's the vision, that's the mission that we have to live by. But talking about my early years, I come from a very close knit family in Pathankot,
Okay.
and my parents were from West Pakistan.
Okay.
They were wise enough to come a little earlier than the partition.
Yes.
And of course, I grew up there. My formative years were very much in the city where I studied till grade two. And then I joined 1 year boarding in Sacred Heart Dalhousie. And then from there, my parents put me into the great boarding school, the Lawrence School, Sanaa, a legacy school, and I truly value my learning there. But having grown up with my parents, with my sisters, and my family, I think it really shaped me into becoming um, a generous person. We were taught generosity because we observed generosity. We observed giving. And I think that became my core DNA of having gratitude, of being thankful for everything and not to take anything for granted. Secondly, I think it's always been about character. My parents always spoke about respect, honor, and we always believed in giving that honor. Give honor to whom honor is due. So I do feel these values have shaped in character building, and my parents always said that what you want to do, you must do it and you live it and do your best. So there's always been a spirit of excellence coming in from this family to build that up. And so the formative years back at home taught us really to value relationships,
Hmm.
honor parents, love your siblings. They come first and then you come.
Hmm.
So I think serving, generosity, gratitude, respect was something I learned from my parents, and they were very sure about it. So that was about my being at home, and if I take that up to my school, I spent many years from 79 as a 9-year-old boy till an 18-year-old gentleman in Lawrence School, Sanaa. It really taught me, it shaped me, and what I learned was again different relationships. I had a challenging time. You know, you leave your parents and you're with different set of people as youngsters, as really young, to live without your loved ones, to overcome disappointments in life, to value friendships, to nurture those friendships, and those are lifelong friendships, and I still enjoy them. Uh, so I think those life lessons of a boarding school, of being independent, of having confidence to walk your own life, to live through, there were many experiences which we experienced back in school as well. And those have been life lessons for me. Yeah.
Beautiful. I don't know why schools don't teach these qualities that you talked about, and that is my lament with the education system, that we teach our kids, I mean, maths, science, and whatever subject that we can think of in the world, but being generous, being people centric, giving respect, I mean, all these are priceless qualities. And I know for a fact, you live by these values every day, and that makes you stand out absolutely in a crowd. uh, and you believe in this. I went through your website, and I saw your message, the welcome message on the Pathways website, which emphasizes this non-cognitive skills and why it is very important. That's why I think Pathways students are what they are. I mean, the quality of those students are really high, is because they have people like you who are leading those institutions. So thank you for sharing that. My second question to you, with from your school formative years, is I know for a fact that you went to St. Stephen's and you studied chemistry at St. Stephen's.
Yes.
So Lawrence School Sanar, then St. Stephen's chemistry. So tell us a bit about your own career choice. What was driving you?
That's a very profound question and an interesting question
Yes.
because that's one of the reasons for me to be into education as well. Uh, Back in school, we didn't really have a counselor.
Yes.
So I didn't know whether I was really guided or I went by what I heard. I'd heard of the legacy college of St. Stephen's, and that was the only college I applied to.
Okay, that was the only
Only
college.
college I applied to, and I was very clear, and there was a debate on back at home. And I remember when I was in grade 11th, kept switching subjects. Sometimes it was biology, sometimes psychology, sometimes it was economics. I wasn't really sure of what I wanted to do. Ultimately, of course, with my three sciences, which I was really fascinated and interested in, I took up sculpture.
Okay.
So I had sculpture as my fifth subject, and I decided to join St. Stephen's, and that was the only college I applied for. My first choice was physics, and I'd got, I remember, 96% in physics, and I was on top of the world. Uh, but I didn't get into physics honors.
Okay.
I got into my second choice of chemistry, and I take that as a blessing in disguise because that's helped me to be where I am.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, when I did my chemistry, I said, oh gosh, I can do anything in the world, I can crack anything. It was a really difficult course. But what I learned was also that you might have done well in something, but that doesn't mean that you get that.
Mm.
How do you overcome a disappointment?
Yes.
It taught me a great lesson taking up my second choice. Of course, I loved it, I enjoyed it. I was really challenged, and I was blessed doing it because that ignited, sparked where I am today.
Amazing. And when yeah, so chemistry is not an obvious choice. Like he studied chemistry. Did he want to become a scientist or something like that? So tell us a bit more about. Yes, so I know after St. Stephen's, you became a teacher. You went to the Doon School. So was teaching on your mind? I mean, you wanted to become a teacher and teach chemistry. So tell us a bit about that journey.
Yeah. Um, Back in school, I was inspired by my headmaster
Okay.
and his wife,
Okay.
Firoza Das.
Okay.
And as I was growing up, their home was always an open home. There were doggies there. You could walk in the evening, you could get your books and study, have a shawl wrapped around. They would offer you coffee, get you a toast. And there was just so much of inspiration. I would love the way they would deal with the children, especially Mrs. Das.
Okay.
And while the headmaster taught me physics, he was my physics teacher as well.
Okay.
And so the inspiration really came from them.
Okay.
And they always told me that you should look into education. So that seed was sown back in
Okay.
school.
Back in school.
But there were other seeds sown back in school as well. But this was also one of them, which I explored later. And once I graduated from college, I don't know how many people know this, but I'd actually failed maths.
Okay. I don't know this.
And
Okay.
I'd gone off with a friend of mine to Nainital, and I didn't give my math exam. So after having worked for chemistry for so many years, if I would not clear my subsidiary math, I would only get a BSc general degree. And I said, that's not on. And in the meantime, Mr. Das sent me a telegram. You know, we used to get those pink colored
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
telegrams
yeah, yeah.
and message written there. And it said that, Rohit, we have a chemistry vacancy. Why don't you come and teach? So I told Hedy, and that's what we call him. And I said, Hedy, I've actually not got a degree as yet.
Oh
I
my,
said, I've
imagine.
actually failed in math. So he says, look, Rohit, have you done your chemistry or not? You tell me that. He says, and I said, yes, I have done it. He says, then you come. You need an experience. You're from a boarding school, come to the Doon School. And by then, Hedy was a Doon School headmaster. He
Okay.
says, I've known you, I've taught you, I know who you are. And he says, come for a few months. So decided immediately after college, not having cleared my math,
Okay.
I decided to go to the Doon School.
Okay. You
And
still
those-
didn't have your degree.
I didn't have a degree.
Oh, wonderful. Learn by doing. Okay.
And it was and it was going there in the Doon School. I decided to go for 3 months, and those 3 months became close to 3 years.
3 years.
And that defined my educational journey. And I loved my time in the Doon School. It was beautiful time of learning and leading there, which I value as a foundation of my teaching and
Teaching
learning career.
Career. Yeah. Absolutely. And then another master move. I mean, you went to from Doon School, you went to the Indian Army and became a captain. So tell us, how did this transition happen? So
Yeah,
where was this seed?
Yeah, so this was born when back in the family, my brother-in-law is from the services and he's from the Armored Corps.
Okay.
I spent a lot of time during holidays with them.
Okay.
And he was also an influential person in my life.
Okay.
And I always wanted to wear a black beret.
Okay.
And I was always fascinated by tanks.
Okay.
But I had to get back after doing school to clear my maths exam to get my degree as well.
Okay.
And that happened. I left a little earlier, cleared my exam, and it's so prophetic. You know, you fail and you get an 84%. I still remember I got an 84% in my math, and that was again a life lesson which I learned. And I'll share a little bit about that because that
Yeah.
adds on to my
Yeah.
educational
Please.
journey as
Please.
well.
Please.
And then I decided to join the Short Service Commission, but I was very clear that I wanted to be in the services for some time, but not from a permanent point of view. So I did join with an intentional to be there, but there were many other dreams that I had in life. And I said, this is one dream, there's a second dream as well, and I do want to have all my dreams fulfilled in this life. So coming to that lesson that I was talking
Yeah.
about, uh, it opened up my mind when I look into my education journey and I see myself right now. It's about giving people chances. I failed as well.
Hmm.
And it helps me to see that people may not do well, but how do you approach that failure? You fail forward and you're able to get up
Absolutely.
and you help them get up
Absolutely.
and they make you proud. So I
Absolutely.
truly believe, because it's a life experience of mine, there was somebody who allowed me to do that. And that became my future, that became my career, that became my life, that became my passion, that became everybody, because somebody inspired me and helped me get up.
I think this is worth its weight in gold. The experience that you shared, everybody deserves. I mean, the failure should not be the stop, the end of everything. I mean, you should fail forward. I mean, you should learn from failure. And I mean, who will believe that you failed in maths and then,
I don't know, I've
then
not shared it with many people.
right? Well, I mean, imagine we today. You know the inspiration that you are, we won't be able to even comprehend. We will think probably you are a gold medalist from St. Stephen's, and you know all the life he has always had success. But then also, I mean, such an important lesson you are giving here, that it is always about somebody in your life that believes in you. And as teachers, I mean, we have that extra responsibility of helping our kids around us who may or may not get always A grades. I mean, they may fail sometimes, but we have to give them the confidence that we are here to support you in their journey and give them that second or third chance so that they don't give up on everything. And real example is you sitting in front of us. I mean, doing school, then the Indian Army and whatnot. So Indian Army, 5 years. You want to share something from your Indian Army
I'd
days? What
love
was
to
the
share
experience?
that.
Yeah.
And that's been intriguing. And I think what kept me there was my family support, inspiration from my family. I remember I joined a month late also in the services. And by the time I joined, I wasn't used to the harsh weather of Chennai. It was Madras then.
Okay.
And I was well built.
Okay.
And when I entered the academy, they thought I was one of the instructors who
This
joined.
was the OTA?
This is the OTA,
Okay.
that's right.
Yeah.
And while they were wishing me good morning, sir, good afternoon, sir, little did they realize that within few hours I would be in the same barracks. And they said, oh, GC, GC,
Okay.
that's gentleman cadet.
Okay.
And I didn't know when the rolling started and when the rolling ended. And of course, with that weather conditions of Chennai, and towards the end, I started loving it. But what also kept me going there was never given as my motto, which is my Cenarian motto. And I truly value that. And of course, being a man of faith as well, the inspiration of the scriptures kept me alive
Okay.
with a tremendous amount of support from my family, because while I was attuned to the physical rigor, the mental rigor was something else. So it really taught me that you got to be strong. And I still remember the turning point in my uh, time in the academy was when I had to climb a wall. You have a big wall and you have your backpacks on, you got your rifle on, you got your big boots on, uh, and you've got to jump off the wall, you land, you do your course, and then you jump in the pool. So you have that entire course. And while I was climbing the wall, I couldn't climb up further. I got stuck in the middle. Uh, so the ustad that we have, the instructors there, he was about 6 feet 3 inches tall, and from the Jat battalion, who kept screaming all kind of things to me, which I don't want to say here. And he says, GC Bajaj,
Ah,
come down. You can never make it. And I
okay.
think that provoked me,
Okay.
that I cannot make it and I would not get down. He said, you're wasting time. Come down. I'd made up my mind. I'm not coming down. Never given is my motto. I'll keep hanging in the air, but I'll not come down. And sometimes when you're inspired, the motivation comes from within. And I was so sure, and I climbed it, closed my course, and at the end, his
Wow.
one word of encouragement: GC, you were too good. That changed me.
Wow.
And my next term became a fabulous term. And I think that one word of encouragement, and I think that was one life lesson
Beautiful.
again, that
Beautiful.
when you get stuck and somebody encourages you and somebody inspires you, that takes you forward. And that was a big learning for me in the army. Of course, I learned many more things of how do you be adaptive, how do you lead, what community is, and importantly, a sense of duty, a sense of responsibility to be mission oriented, driven. And I have to say that it's service before self, it's sacrifice before self. So I think those core values of integrity and knowing that your duty comes first will always be a part of me, and great learning from the services. And I'm so grateful that those 5 years in the service in 85 Armored Regiment have been a true testament of who I stand today again.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that aspect of your life. Amazing. Indian Army and 5 years, and then fantastic 5 years. Then you're thinking of coming back. I think you went with the idea of short service, and 5 years is, I think, that's the tenure. Uh, and then you came back to teaching, and you went to Oak Ridge. I think what is how
Sanar.
Sanar? Yeah, what was the transition like here?
The transition was amazing because, uh, my parents were very disappointed that I'm going to quit the services.
Okay,
They were not happy at all. I have to
okay.
say that. But they always supported my decision. But it was a loud, clear voice within my spirit which I heard: leave. And I just heard my inner voice. And I decided to leave the services. And when I left, I wasn't really sure what I had to do. And those many months that I spent post the services was actually a very important part. It's like, you take a gap year, and that's another learning which I learned, that allow children to take a gap year as well.
Okay.
It helps you define your purpose, it helps you to discover yourself, it helps you to find yourself. And that 1 year, the gap year, which
Gap year.
uh, intentionally I had to take, uh, was actually discovering my own destiny.
Hmm.
I traveled, I did things which I enjoyed doing, and at the end of it, I again decided that my former love was education. And education was not a profession for me. It's been an absolute calling for me.
It is.
And the day when I heard my inner voice, the inner voice did speak to me: yeah, okay, there's something more for you. And perhaps you need to look into teaching and learning. And so it took about a year before I decided to explore what I wanted to do. I had a choice between Doon and Sana. Both the headmasters were really kind to offer me a role. Um, I decided to go back to my alma mater, the Lawrence School,
Lawrence School
Sana.
Sanar.
And that was a great blessing. And I was there. I joined as a teacher, teaching chemistry. I became a senior housemaster in six
So
months'
back to
time.
chemistry.
Yes. The chemistry started again.
Chemistry
So,
started again.
it was a blessing for me.
Okay.
I became the senior master of the school, where I was responsible for the entire boys' side of the school. And those were great years for me to be there. And I loved my time in Sanar.
It's a beautiful school. By the way, I've been to Lawrence School Sanar, and I fell in love with the place. Uh, just I spent about a couple of hours. I mean, last year we had a retreat. I think Education World and Boarding School Association of India
Yeah.
hosted a retreat. The current principal, Mr. Himmat Singh Dhillon, is a dear friend from, he was in UAE and I was in UAE. And when he moved to Lawrence School Sanar, and then so we are in touch, and I can only imagine you first as a student there, and then as a teacher, and and so I just had to share my relation also with Sanar, because when you're talking about Sanar, I can imagine it. It's beautiful, and I just spent 2 hours, and I can imagine you spending so many formative years of your life in that iconic institution, and the product speaks for itself. I mean, you are here, and then so sir, yes, sorry, you want to continue about your teaching at Sanar, and then
So teaching was really interesting because I think what I learned from my headmaster, what I learned way back when I was in Sana, my learning experiences in the Doon school. And I never realized it was always inquiry based learning. I still remember, I'll give you a small incident I remember in the Doon school when I was teaching environmental sciences. And I had a class where we were talking about pH, water pH. And I told my headmaster that, are you okay if I go up to Gangotri, come down to Rishikesh, go down to Allahabad, and perhaps way down, collect different waters, and actually allow the children to come back with the waters and check the pH and what really matters so that they have a greater understanding. He says, you must do that. And that's the kind of learning we want our children to have. So I remember taking children for camps and hikes, and we remember collecting water from different areas. And then, of course, I didn't go down as far as Calcutta, but whoever was going, we did get some water. And we did this lovely exercise that the same water flowing in the same river, how does the pH change? So it was already experiential learning. And so, whatever I learned way back in school, we were taught that. I still remember a class, my English teacher taking us out. She was my English teacher, but she took us out in the lovely greens of Sanar on nature walks. We do nature walks. We were taught as to how to walk, keep quiet, hear the sounds of the birds,
beautiful,
see the butterflies flying.
beautiful.
These were things that we learned. We learned when we were growing up that you climb trees and you fall down. And you get up, you break fruit
Wow.
from the trees. So this was also learning in the Doon school.
Super.
And this was something that we did in Sanar as well. So now coming back where I could help children learn, it was a beautiful experience. I remember teaching them the atomic structure. We were all outside and we all became electrons, protons, and neutrons. And it became so easy to help them learn. So I didn't know what inquiry based learning was then, but it was great experiential learning. We'd go out for camps, we'd go out for different, and we did a lot of service work. So it was interesting to help children learn and imbibe values and shape their characters.
Beautiful. And this is music to our ears at Masters Union. We are all about hands-on, experiential, inquiry-based learning, learn by doing. I mean, uh, lovely. And I mean, we truly resonate with all of this. I will say again, I don't know why more schools in this country don't follow this model where you make students learn by experiencing things rather than just bookish knowledge. But so Lawrence School Sonar, and you fell in love with your chemistry and becoming electron and all of those things. I could see that, although it was your second choice, as
Yes.
you said, but then you became passionate about it.
Yes.
So then I think one of another very important phase of your life is Oak Ridge. Is it after Lawrence School Sonar
Yes.
that you went to
Yes.
Oak Ridge? How did that came about? I mean, from beautiful hills of you know Himalayas, you went to down south in Hyderabad. How did that come about?
So this is again very interesting. I remember we were practicing for founders, uh, and I was taking the NCC parade, helping the children, uh, to walk in a disciplined way and march in a disciplined way. I got a call from my headmaster, Shomi Das. And I think my journey is so much aligned to, uh, from Sanar to Doon School and then to Oak Ridge. Well, he was the education chairman there.
Okay.
And he gave me a call. He says, look, Rohit, you need to experience different learning styles and you need to experience different teaching modes as well. And he said, I would like you to experience the International Baccalaureate, and I would invite you to be the principal of Oak Ridge International School,
Okay.
Gachibowli campus in Hyderabad. So I told him, I said, Hedy, I'm here practicing for founders. Can I have this conversation later with you? And I love the hills. I can't see myself going anywhere else. He says, look, now you better give me a call later and we'll have a conversation. So when I spoke to him post my founders, and he says, why don't you just go and meet? They're two young gentlemen, Naga Prasad and Rajshekhar Reddy. Have a conversation, see if you like it, and take it out from there. And sure enough, I decided to go down to Hyderabad. And again, the inner voice speaks. And when I reached there, I said, my destiny is changing because change in location is change in destiny. And it was a blessing to be there. And while one of the directors wasn't sure of me, he says, okay, a North Indian gentleman who doesn't know Telugu. And I think between both of them, one of them was convinced, one of them was having a little doubt. But then they said, okay, if Shomi said it, then he may be the right guy. And there I was, few months later, as the principal of Oak Ridge, Hyderabad. And it was a beautiful learning experience there. Whatever I had learned during my school days, army, Doon school, and from Sana, and of course, new leading, I was able to give my best and learn and imbibe in the IB philosophy. I met some really good educators from the IB who helped me to get, do a deep dive in the IB philosophy. And they're still my lifelong friends that I have. And then, of course, understanding human relationships. How do human relationships and pedagogy meet together? And what does experiential learning mean, keeping the intercultural understanding and international mindedness in view? So it was a great learning time and great leading time. And it changed because from leading students to leading teachers to leading many more community and building up a vibrant community together was something I learned. And I also learned that you can't do anything alone.
Absolutely.
It's in togetherness. So I always believe what John Maxwell says. He says that if you want to go fast, you do it alone. You want to go far, do it together. And that's
Absolutely.
something I learned in
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Newton campus in Hyderabad, Gachibowli, Oak Ridge.
Absolutely, absolutely. And was it the first time you were working in an IB school or?
Yes, this was 2008.
Okay.
And it was my first time becoming a head suddenly with no IB
IB,
experience.
yes. So
But I think the philosophy was already there because Doon, Sana, Army gave you those experiences
Okay.
of provoking curiosity. So it was already there. I feel it was there in my spirit.
And I think not many IB schools were there in India at that
Yes,
point of time
yeah.
also.
There were very few
Very
IB
few
schools, yeah.
IB schools I can only imagine. And I think Hyderabad, I also have a connection. My first job was in Hyderabad. I mean, I started my career in Hyderabad. I mean, Gachibowli was my office. I mean, now it's called Mahindra Satyam, but Satyam
Yes.
Computers
Yes,
was
yes,
my
yeah.
office for almost 3 years. So I know Hyderabad from 2006 to 2008 was the time frame that I was based in Hyderabad. Uh, and I can only imagine, as you're right, absolutely right, a North Indian guy going from to down south, not knowing Telugu, and then you have to work with those communities. And I think that was also the time that Hyderabad was growing economically, a lot of economic activity happening there, and I'm sure really IT hub. I mean, you will have a lot of families coming from overseas, and their kids would require good education. And somebody like you, I can also see you leading those because you were having experience in Indian Army. I mean, Doon School, Lawrence School, and your values. I mean, your lived experiences are amazing. So, any highlights from this part of your journey?
Yeah.
What was it like? Anything that you want, interesting things that you want to
Yeah,
share?
very interesting.
Yeah.
I got married in the school.
Oh, you did? You got married in the school?
Yeah, I got married in the school, and my compliments uh, to Naga Prasad and to Rajshekhar Reddy. They got me married in Oak Ridge campus, and that
So-
was really exciting. And of course, I guess when I said that change in location is a change in your destiny, and I was truly blessed to be in Hyderabad because I found my wife there.
Okay, beautiful.
And
Hare
so
Krishna.
Nihara is from Hyderabad, so that was my key highlight there. And again, I think a gentleman who played a very important role in getting me married was again Shomi Das, because he and my father-in-law were great friends, Doscos and Cambridge buddies. And yeah, so he did kind of influence my father-in-law, if I may say so. And yeah, so that was one major highlight of
Beautiful.
being in Hyderabad
So
as
how did
well.
you, I mean, if I may ask, how did you meet your wife? I mean,
So she decided to work on, in the corporate office with the managing director.
okay.
And she was also located in the school.
Okay.
And so I think love blossomed in school.
Beautiful. I mean, what a beautiful story. And then you got married in the school itself.
Yeah, we got married. So there was a big party
Beautiful.
for all the families, the
Beautiful.
entire staff, the families were invited.
Beautiful.
And then there was another party with the support staff there. So, and of course,
Wow. Wow.
another wedding
I mean, I
reception
could not have
outside.
imagined that this is, yeah, this will be, thank you for sharing. But this is beautiful. Uh, and I think 5 years at Oak Ridge or more than, I think
6.5 years.
6.5 years.
Yeah.
And how, I mean, you will be very young, right, to head a school?
Yeah.
I mean, generally in India, I mean, principal are expected to be, with gray hair, and then only after maybe 50 years of 50 or 45 plus, I mean, things are changing now, but those years, I mean, talking about, I mean, so again, I think, I mean, again, it talks about the quality of your own experiences where, somebody like Mr. Shomi Das saw that person in you and always kept on banking that you are the person for the long run, and he always saw the teacher in you, right? He always said. So great. I mean, thank you for sharing that. Now, after 6.5 years at Oak Ridge, Hyderabad, uh, then is the time for where you are right now,
Yes.
Pathways. I mean, again, Pathways is, as I said, is an iconic institution, Pathways, and you have been with them for more almost 14 years.
11 years. 11 and a
11,
half. Yeah.
11 and a half years or a decade
Yeah.
long journey with Pathways. And so, what brought you back to Delhi and from Hyderabad? I mean, what were the driving factors there? I mean,
I'm a North Indian with a South Indian heart.
okay.
And I think coming back and to broaden your perspective, I thought it was important for me to move as well. And my relationship with Pathways has been since 2003,
Okay.
where I've met them for many times for different roles. And I remember one of the board of governors, very dear Dr. Datar, she would always call me the reluctant groom.
Okay.
And she would say that we've met him so many times,
Reluctant.
but he hasn't joined us. And then I did get an opportunity where they offered me the role for Pathway School Gurgaon as the director. And I felt at that time I was ready to take on this role. And I just loved the Pathways vision. So when I interacted with the management, such a progressive management who sees beyond, and it's just such a delight dealing with them and seeing how they view education, and the vision that we've created in Pathways has been so inspiring. So that was the only choice for me to consider a change.
The reluctant groom. I love this term that she gave to you. Uh, so great. Uh, and I think Pathways is an iconic institution, and a lot of the times that I have visited Pathways, I agree with you. I mean, it is also the founders, but also the founders who have empowered people like you to, because I have, as I said, my own little journey of life. I mean, I have been to many institutions, many countries, and seen that the problem starts when the founders don't give the educators, because education is not like any other business, right? I mean, a lot of times when I meet people and they tell me, because I worked in Ashoka and then in Jindal, so I want to build another Ashoka. Ankur, can you help me build another Ashoka? Let's build another Jindal. And I said, no, it's not only about me. I didn't build Ashoka. I didn't build Jindal. I was part of that ecosystem where somebody thought that we need people like Ankur to lead this part of our institution, and maybe a head of institution like coming to you, Captain Bajaj, coming in and your own lived experiences, your own philosophies, your own inspirations make institution what it is. It's not always about one person, but definitely the person who is heading that institution day to day and working with the children, with the teachers, giving them confidence, giving them that umbrella to kind of, and educating the kind of, I mean, talking about from the university space, the founders, people who put in money, that education is not setting up a manufacturing plant, it's not a FMCG. You're dealing with real people, with real individuals, and teachers are very unique individuals. I mean, you teachers are not in this profession if they are in the for the right reason. They will not be here for money. They are here because they want to create a positive impacts in somebody's life. I mean, I'm myself a teacher. I teach courses, and when I went to the classroom first time, I believe that I had that responsibility of these 40 children on my head. I want to ensure that, as you said, every one of them should be given a second chance, third chance, fourth chance, and if I can help them do better, I mean, those are my motivations, and I believe a true teacher is always like that. My own experience in my own school days, I still remember the teacher that gave me a second chance. So, what would you say, you know, as a head of institution of Pathways? How have how has the founding team or the founders at Pathways enabled you and the entire ecosystem at Pathways to build such a beautiful institution?
So, Ankur, I just can say one word for that. It's a belief system, and it's got to do with trust.
Trust.
You trust your leader. You trust your leader because you know that the leader is responsible. And I think that's the foundation of building lives together.
Together.
So you can only nurture a community, you can make them into a thinking, compassionate global citizens, not just learners who are my students, who I live for, who inspire me. There are teachers who you empower, and there is a parent community who you deal with because we work in harmony with each other. And that's got to do with trust.
Trust.
And I think that's the building block of where we are today. Uh, and I value my 11 and a half years in Pathways. It's that belief system. It's that spirit of people may have autonomy to do things. They may have agency to speak up, to make choices, to have an ownership. But that all comes from the principle of trust.
Trust.
And I feel that's what makes Pathways a beautiful place to be in.
Yeah, yeah. And I think trust leads to building of what we call that culture in that school.
Yes.
I mean, building that culture where those are shared values. I mean, founding values that every person of that community lives by. And I think that comes across. I mean, all the values that you talk about in your welcome message. I mean, I'll say this a lot of the time we read welcome messages from head of schools, and I'm like, okay, I went to your school, but nothing was matching. But when I read your welcome message, everything was matching whatever you have written there. I mean, about life, about education, about values. When we walk into Pathways, when we speak to you, you are living example of those things that you, I mean, just a small gesture of bringing a cake for our students here when you walked in, such a nice small gesture, but such a big gesture. I mean, you were thoughtful enough to to bring that and bring a smile on all our faces. And I mean, I would really love for more Captain Bajaj around who can realize this, that this is the way you build relationships, this is the way you build authenticity. And if we just follow our welcome messages on the school website, I mean, your job is done. But thank you so much for being the teacher that you are. I mean, although you wear many hats, you are a celebrated head of school, but I still believe you shared it yourself that you're still a teacher at heart and you want to do well for everybody around you. My next question is also about, you, it's not only about Pathways now. I mean, you do so much fantastic work with, I think, Association of Ivy World School Leaders. I mean, I don't sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name of that association, but the head of school association,
Association of Ivy Schools.
Association of Ivy Schools. I see a lot of, again, driving a lot of collaboration within the community, a lot of knowledge sharing you are doing, uh, bringing in a lot of your positive energy to such a growing population of IB schools in the country. Globally, you are doing so much work. Why don't we speak about that? I mean, what is happening there?
Thank you, Ankur. In fact, it's been a great learning and a humbling experience to be the president of the IB Association of Heads in India and South Asia. It's actually taught me to value perspectives. It's taught me that there is just so much of joy and comfort in knowing that you're not alone in this challenging, complex world of learning and leading. And what we've done together, so I wouldn't just speak about myself, I would just say that in togetherness, we have an executive committee and with the support of all the IB heads, because this association is about all of us, it's not about any one single person. So we bring in that collegiality where we respect each other. There's an advocacy for the IB mission and vision. And of course, the primary principle is collaboration, where we work together to extend our best practices. We learn from each other. So there is about student engagement, there's about heads engagement. We want to bring the entire community, the teaching, learning community together. So we started with, while we have heads conferences every year, we also have started on the coordinators, Pan India and Asia annual meetings with all the four programs of the IB, with primary, PYP, MYP, DP, and CP. And each head of the school comes and volunteers their spaces to host these conferences and meetings. And we learn so much from each other. So it's brought in everybody together. And we've extended to the other support staff as well in terms of our administration, human resources, technical teams, social emotional
Okay,
learning
everybody.
teams.
Okay.
So we've been doing in various regions
Wow.
different set of workshops with people, inviting people, and it's a common language that we speak in. So I think the main success has been to get the community together. I think that's the great success, and that's significant for me.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
that is beautiful. And how old is this association?
So the association was founded in 2015.
2015.
And then, of course, it was registered in 2018. So they had founding members. And then, of course, in 2023, in March, we got the association recognized by the IB. And it's just been going beautifully.
Okay.
And we work with the IB, we work with the schools. And one of the good things that we do is also mentor schools. So there are part of the association is also the candidate schools of the IB as well.
Okay.
So not only authorized schools, but the candidate schools.
Candidate
And we support schools as well. So, it's just very nice that you get stuck, we are there for you.
Beautiful.
Reach out, ask questions, and we all answer them. I may not have all the answers. Somebody else may have those answers.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Again, I mean, living by your own values. So, so I think IB schools are also growing in the country. I think a lot of schools are coming up in IB. I mean,
Yeah, there are many schools coming
Yeah,
up, and compliments to the IB and compliments to the team as well, because I think people believe in the IB
IB now,
philosophy,
right?
and they see that's a good fit for their children as well. So we have a lot of IB schools, and they're coming up. There are many candidate schools as well.
So candidate schools will be the schools that are looking to become an IB
yeah,
school.
so they are in the process of authorization.
Mm.
So yeah.
And for my viewers who may not know, I mean, what will be an IB school USP in terms of CBSE or other curriculums? I mean, what is the standout things that our viewers should know about IB?
I think it's about global citizenship.
Global citizenship.
It's about intercultural understanding. It's about a mindset. It's about international mindedness. It's about respecting others with the differences and to know that they can be right as well.
Absolutely. In today's world, that is a rare quality. Your
So
ability is
that's the USP of an IB school.
yeah,
And when I speak about from a student perspective, yes, it is inquiry driven pedagogy, but the core is being a lifelong learner, it's a learner's profile. And that's what we want. We want the competencies, the mindsets of what you profess today in Master Union. The conversation that I was having with your three
yes,
students
reason.
and with you, what you are doing in Masters Union is what we do at Pathways.
Absolutely.
So I loved when they sang the song of Pathway School Gurgaon and a Master Union
Yes.
and singing Pathways Union.
Yes.
So I just love that,
Yes.
and
Yes.
and
That was a
that's the
beautiful moment.
synergy as well.
Beautiful moment. I think, and we had one of your
Learning by doing.
yes, learning by doing. And I think we are so happy that we have many students from Pathways, and one of them met you today
Yeah.
and received you at the campus. I'm so happy, and that's they, so that's they sang that beautiful song. I mean, I was also very happy to hear that. But so thank you again. I mean, my next question was supposed to be about Masters Union and our learn by doing philosophy, but I think you have covered a lot of it in your own lived experiences that have made you what you are today. So, I mean, finally, I mean, as you said, I mean, you are still many years in front of you in terms of your own teaching career. I mean, what is the plan for you? What are you thinking in terms of next 10 years or 5? I don't know how you think about life, but generally I think about, okay, 5 years, 10 years, this is what I want to do. What is your take? Uh, if I was to ask you, what do next few years look like for Captain Bajaj? I mean, are you thinking of something big, or is it like you take it as every day as it comes around? Any thoughts on that?
It always reminds me to, about many students that I speak about in grade 10th, grade 11th. Grade 10, what subjects do you want to choose? I don't know. When I speak, where do you want to go? I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. So I have a similar answer to that, but I see myself as growing leaders and empowering those leaders to grow others. That's my mission, and that's what I believe in. Um, Character is very important, and I would continue in building a community, a thinking community who's compassionate, who believes in growing other people, empowering educators to live their purpose and lead by heart.
Absolutely. I know I said final question, but I now that you have spoken about educators, I want to ask this question as well. I mean, we are seeing big growth in education sector in India. You have a lot of international schools that are now coming to India, setting up schools, setting up,
Including universities.
including universities. We have so much happening. I mean, I call it the 92 movement for Indian education system. We are liberalizing and we are inviting all the big institutions from around the world to come and set up campuses here, and when they come to India, I mean, they will require educators, and we know that there is now growing interest in taking up, positions in universities, becoming teachers. So, in your view, your own lived experience from, St. Stephen's and all the wonderful institutions that have trained you and have left an impact on you, who should be a teacher? What are the right motivations to be a teacher? We covered a lot of it, and what definitely you should not join teaching as a profession if you are thinking that these are the things that I would be getting.
Ankur, my perspective, one is on a profession and one is about being a teacher.
Yeah,
I feel wherever you are a teacher. You're a learner by heart. So, whichever field you are, you're going to continue teaching. So, if I can birth that spirit of learning in every individual's heart, I would have made a difference to transform the thought processes, to help them understand. Every year, I ask my children that, we speak about different careers, we speak about different opportunities. I always ask them, how many of you want to take over my position as a school director?
yeah,
And that is something which I provoke them into thinking that this is a beautiful profession where you make a difference in other people's lives. And more than a profession, it's a calling because you've got to have a character. To be a doctor, you need to have significant characteristics.
Yeah.
So, to be a teacher, to be an educator, you have to be a lifelong learner who believes in character, who is driven by inquiry, who's curious, and believes in human flourishing. So, the second career, which I always speak about in today's time, because there is much spoken about different careers, is also about the defense forces.
Defense forces. Yes.
So, I always make it a point to ask my students how many of you would like to lead an adventurous life where you lead people, where it teaches you who to become, and a profession of learning and teaching, and those principles are used in every sphere of your life. And who would become the next school director of Pathway School?
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. And who should not come to teaching?
That's a difficult one.
Yeah.
Uh, Teaching is a competency, and we all need to be teachers. We are all teachers by heart. Whether you're a parent or your student, I learn from my students. So I feel that maybe people may not view teaching as a profession, but there's always a teacher at heart because you're
Absolutely.
always learning.
Absolutely. Such a beautiful thought to close off this conversation. I think definitely we are all teachers, even though we may not have that designation, but everybody,
Yeah.
as they move in life, at some point or the other, you become a teacher,
Yes.
right? So thank you so much, Captain Bajaj, for taking time out for us. It was an honor, and for sharing such personal experiences. I mean, getting married in a school, and you failing in maths and teaching, and beautiful journey. I think, and that's why I love you and the values and the emphasis that you put on character. I think that is one of my takeaways from this conversation, that I think that is the most used term in last 45 minutes that we have spoken about, and so beautifully spoken about, and such a nice explanation you gave through your own life journey of how, starting from your journey from Pathankot, and your family instilled that values in you. It has taken you so many places. I mean, you would have changed.
Including the EBC
Yeah,
with my students,
great
21
21
students.
students. Imagine. So I think those are the things, and I will still urge from my platform and Intersect platform that I think more schools and more educators need to talk about building character and giving those values to our children. I think more and more when we see our world today, it is required, and our kids may not realize it, but they need, as you said, role models in teachers who they can emulate and get inspired by just being around them, and somebody to around them who believes in them and gives them that second chance as somebody gave you. So beautiful. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So much for your time, and
Thank
we
you,
look
Uncle.
forward to your continued association with Masters Union and
Pathways Union.
Pathways Union, and then having you back on campus for Intersect 5. I mean, I should talk about that as well. Intersect 5, we are hosting from 13th to 15th Feb 2026, and we hope to have you again to share your knowledge and experiences with the delegates from 15 plus countries that will be coming. We have already got a wait list going for that. So thank you. I hope to see you then also for the Pathways Union. Right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.